Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you to those of you who have had to be patient today. There were many of you ready online about almost an hour ago now, and I accidentally pressed the wrong button and went live for about a second. So we had to redo everything, and I just want to thank you for your patience and for being here today. If ever there's a time that you need a teddy or you need something to soothe you, something to slow your breathing, and preferably 2 teddies, or maybe even 3. To put near your heart, to put close to your heart. And even maybe just touch your heart right here, right now. Just put your hand on your heart. Because it really is the heart energy that we want to activate now, more than ever. And I was listening to a lovely clip from one of my heroes, Greg Braden. Lucy, or you might want to put his details in the chat, please, if you get a chance, who says that when you're having difficulty making a decision, or you're feeling as though you're under pressure, and with this aspect now that we've got going strongly for this next couple of weeks, well, actually, it's the rest of this month, is Mars and Uranus are in Taurus. This is very disruptive. Things don't go as you plan. Things change in the last minute. It's quite combative. It's quite, shall we say, bellicose. It's ready for a fight. So there's an impatience in the air. So what can you do to soothe you? And Greg Braden's great tip is that if you have a big decision to make, just put your hand on your heart and slow your breathing just a little bit. And then ask your heart what is right for you. Because what he says is that the brain, when you ask the brain, the mind energy, that's polarized. It's going to give you logic one way or the other. It'll say, well, you haven't considered this, but what about this? And then you go round in a tailspin. I know I do. And then I can just slow down and come to the heart energy. And with the heart, I can feel all the love that I feel. With the heart, I can open my love to you and be so grateful that I've got Lucy online. Thank you, Lucy, for staying up super late to accommodate me here in New Zealand. Thank you, Lucy, for being there at the drop of a hat many times in the day. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, April, for being here. We've got a real team, a real family is here. So let's keep connecting with the heart energy. I miss Greece. I miss my time in Greece. I miss my friends in Greece and my family there. And what I love about the Greeks is they always do this. They say thank you with just this gesture of the hand on heart. When you want to send love to somebody, you don't sort of do it here, you do it here. So big shout out for my wonderful team. So things are breaking down. January, February, these all always looked as though they were going to be tense and possibly difficult months. And I don't need to say any more about the fact of everything that is happening in the United States right now and the polarization of energies. So can it get much worse? And can it get much better? And I think we're going to see more of these extreme energies. I was looking at the astrology this morning. We've also got the moon in Scorpio. for the next day and a bit. So here's what's going on. The fixed energies are really strong. We've got Mars Uranus in Taurus, and Mars is approaching this Uranus, so always stronger when it is applying. So become aware of rage inside of you. How much does it take for rage to come up in you? Are you holding down your rage, your anger? Because chances are this concoction of energies, you may be triggered. And the key is to know that this is in the air. So be extra careful if you're driving. Be extra conscious. Don't be on the phone. Give it your full attention if you are working any kind of machinery. Mars rules machinery and knives and anything like that. Give things extra attention. It's not to be frightened by these aspects. It's just to know that these are in the air. So people, generally, there is an energy of impatience, of injustice, and how could this be happening? And people who are feeling as though they want the vaccine, and then many who are saying, I don't want the vaccine, and I don't want to have a travel passport. So there is this tremendous indignance. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm indignant. This shouldn't be happening. And there's this fixed energy. We've got Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, soon the Sun, all in Aquarius, squaring up Mars and Uranus and the Moon in Scorpio. So fixed energy wants it its way. It won't move. It's unmovable. It's stubborn. And what are you holding on to that you no longer need, that's no longer for your highest good? And it might be something you think you still want, but it's not for your good. And the same goes on a global level. What are we holding on to? What systems are we trying to make work that no longer are appropriate for the new age that we're moving into? If ever there's going to be a time for the disruption of the economy, I think it's in these next weeks and months ahead. Taurus, Mars, Uranus in Taurus rules the money system. Uranus in Taurus since 2018 until 2025 would suggest the freeing up of old money systems that don't work for us, the breaking down of those systems, and new systems that have to come through. But just know that the old doesn't give way very easily. But we've got some very sick energies in our economy. Banks are printing money. Central banks are just printing money out of thin air, thereby making the rich richer and the rest of the people a lot poorer. And it might not feel like that, but the reality is going to hit at some point. So what can we do about it? All right, because I don't know how it's going to play out. We can't know. Uranus is a wild card, and we'll always come up with something we don't expect. But it seems that China today has just announced that it's going to have a cryptocurrency coin. I don't think anybody knows which one it is yet, but whichever one they're going to back in digital currency, that will be the one. There will be millionaires made overnight from that decision. Lisa, thank you. I love you too. I appreciate that. So what can we do? I've been following a wonderful man called Chris Martenson, Martensenon. He's been talking about resilience for many, many, many years, since 2008, when we had the last crisis, when Pluto first went into Capricorn. And that what we have to do more than anything now is to build resilience, because we've got to be able to find ways to become more adaptable to sudden changes. So let's look at the economy. Let's stick to the economy, because I think finances and money are going to be a very, very big subject over these next months. Thank you very much, Marianne. I appreciate that. So how can you prepare for what astrologically looks like some kind of a major currency situation, bank situation, collapse, recession? I don't know. I don't think we can say. But how can you prepare? Well, Uranus rules your gifts, your talents. Sorry, Taurus rules your gifts and talents. Uranus waking us up saying, right, what skills can you develop? Because skills are going to be valuable as we move forward. For me, I offer astrology and channeled and readings and webinars and trainings and teachings that I hope that are uplifting and are valuable. So what skills could you develop, or do you have already, that will be of value? Because people pay you or want to give you something for something that you can do. So you may have good skills with your hands. You may be very creative. You may be good with the earth. Maybe you're one of the gardeners who's good at growing things. Maybe you're good at constructing things and building things. Because what is coming is much more extremes in climate. They talk about climate change. We're going to have extremes in, just as we've got polarity and division in extremes between the left, the right, the ones who want something and the ones who don't want it. Just as we've got that kind of extreme, I think we're going to see more extremes of floods and droughts and earthquakes. Thank you, Danielle. And all kinds of extreme energy. So what can you do again to prepare? Well, if you can, get some backup equipment, so that if your grid goes down for a little while, I'm not saying it will, of course we hope that none of this is going to happen, but when you build in resilience, you have contingency plans. And that's all that I'm suggesting, that the astrology is showing that things could get out of control quickly. Thank you, Kunal, appreciate that. And because things look as though they may get out of control quickly, what can you do on the physical level? So have you got good sleeping bags? Have you got maybe a tent? Have you got maybe some warm clothes? Have you got an alternative source of warmth, of light, of cooking? This is not to frighten you. This is just to begin thinking of this. And if it doesn't happen, great. That's all right. But if you're prepared, you can then help others who are vulnerable, who may not be able to be prepared, who may be very young or very old, or sick or disabled, who will need help. So the stronger that you can be with skills, with preparations, with building community, the more you are then able to bring others along. So this is the reason I'm sharing this. Thank you, Phil. 13 is the number for today. All right, thank you. So there's the preparation on the physical level. Uranus in Taurus, it's going to affect supply systems, it's going to affect money systems, it's going to liberate money, it's going to free money. Ultimately, what comes from this is going to be wonderful, because what's been going on is unsustainable for people to become multi-billionaires while other people don't have what to eat. So it's not sustainable. And what's great about this, with all these planets charging into the air energy, with Jupiter and Saturn now since December the 21st, the great conjunction in Aquarius, but we're coming into the Sun in Aquarius. Mercury going into Aquarius, is in Aquarius, I think, just, or coming into. And then we'll go retrograde in Aquarius at the end of this month until February 21st, and stays in Aquarius until March. So Mercury in Aquarius, a time for coming up with new ideas, new problem-solving ideas, amazing ideas coming. And new ways that we're going to connect socially, new ways that we're going to transact with one another, and more equitable ways. So the more prepared you can get yourself now, emotionally, do you have a support system? Do you have people you know you can trust, that you can rely on? Can you begin to build that support system? We have a support system here. You are my soul family. I'm hoping that this is just creating all kinds of networks and lights that go on between us. Lucy, April, Drew, thank you. You're pulling together the glue of our community. And Margot, thank you. I will begin to channel again as well. Yes, that will be coming through. Thank you, Grace. Amara Grace, thank you. So this transition period, as painful as it is, because many are going through deep pains, it's also going to be a time of immense opportunity where we can create social structures that include the young and the old. We're not pushing off old people into old homes all over the place, that we care for our vulnerable, and new social systems, because air rules social and Aquarius rules groups, friends, communities. And it's time for the new. So there will be likelihood more civil unrest, more disruptions, more breakups of the status quo. What we need to do our best to avoid is that this anger and this rage gets out of control, and then there is a tremendous amount of damage that is caused. Thank you, Ola. Yeah. So we can see it. We're seeing the seeds of it. It's already, some very sad events have been happening, more and more accentuated. But because we can see that the writing is on the wall now, if each one of us can work upon that energy of rage. I mean, I'm far from perfect. It happens to me regularly, every day. With Bonnie, yeah, she doesn't like to have the halter put on her when we go walkies. And I take her 2 or 3 times a day out for walkies. Well, she leads me a song and dance. Even now with little treats, she won't come easily. She runs and dances round, and I can feel my, I just want to grab her and say, Bonnie, sit down. Yeah, and I felt that rage coming up in me. I thought, okay, don't take it out on the animal. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. So let's, to the best of our ability, I'm reminded of Summer Bacon, who I speak of a lot, my wonderful Summer Bacon, who helped me so much when I was opening with the channeling. She's a very pure channel, and Summer, you might, Lucy, please put her details in the chat for those who are interested. She has a tremendous amount of wonderful information on her website. She's not doing personal channelings anymore, but she does I think a monthly or even a weekly channeling with Dr. Peebles. She's a very pure channel. And I'm reminded when she brought Dr. Peebles through, I think he says something like, sorry, I'm paraphrasing here, heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. Yeah. Let my heart teach my mind what the right thing is to do. To come from the heart energy. And it doesn't mean to say you won't feel rage and you won't feel outraged at some of the injustices and terrible things that are happening. It's just that if we come from a fighting energy and not from an intelligent energy, we're going to create, we won't create the results and the outcomes that we want. I think Abraham Lincoln said, and again I have to paraphrase him, make your enemies your friends. Find ways of making your enemies your friends. And I think that's what we've got to do here. That everybody's got to be, we're in this soup together. So do your bit with finding ways to soothe yourself, to soothe others if they need it. A lot of people need a lot of soothing right now. Who needs soothing in your life? Who can you reach out to? Who can you phone? Who can you email? Who just needs a kind word or a smile? Just to keep that energy. I mean, it's bubbling underneath, right? We know it's there. And not to put a lid on it, because Mars has been in Aries all these months, just gone into Taurus. So the fire has been building. And it's got to, the lid has got to come off it. Yes, the steam has to be able to be released somehow, but let's release the steam safely. That is our challenge. Together. How can we release the steam off the pressure cooker on our own stuff? And then if you do it with your own stuff and the people around you, it has to be released somehow. Can't be kept in. That's why nature, after a while, if it isn't released, that's when a volcano erupts. That's when things erupt. This can bring eruptions. It already is. And Lao Tzu famously says, and again I'm paraphrasing here, catch things when they're small. If you catch it when it's not so big, you can deal with it. It's a bit like if you're not feeling very well, you're feeling a bit chilled, and you take care of yourself. You say, right, I'm going to have a hot bath, I'm going to go in the sauna, I'm going to take some vitamin C, whatever it does, you catch it early. Now the economy has been going long. So when this really erupts, it's going to be very disruptive, which is why I'm suggesting to put in these things in place. If you're able to find a piece of land, for those of you that can, where you can grow food and you've got water, this will be a great investment, a wonderful investment. There are all kinds of structures coming out. Uranus in Taurus rules structures that will enable us to live on the land, even if there are disruptions and nature is boiling, because nature is not very happy with what we've been doing to her. So we have to be corrected. But nature will also give us the materials and the means to build sacred dwellings, dwellings that are in accordance with the earth, in accordance with the energies, the direction the home should be in. There's all kinds of dome structures now that withstand earthquakes and all kinds of hurricane energies, I believe. So many of you will be into this, but this is the wave of the future. And for those of you who are interested, get those skills, learn those skills in solar energy, in solar batteries, whatever it is. This is what to invest in, because this will save lives. This will save people as we go through more and more turbulence. It's going to get more turbulent. It's going to feel as though you're on a roller coaster. And roller coasters can be thrilling and scaring you to death. So there's a bit of each. Yeah, there's tremendous excitement at the possibilities that we've got. And I'm wanting to present this to you in a very real way, not in a way of, oh, Pollyanna, that nothing's happening. A lot's happening. And much more is going to unfold in the United States. And as the United States goes, so the rest of the world is going to go, because we're all connected. So we're going to see huge changes because air, and this air energy is strong and getting stronger and stronger as we move into more Aquarian energy. Pluto will go into Aquarius in 2023. So it's coming. There's going to be vast changes happening to our media. Air rules the spoken word, the written word, communications. Our media systems have to change. Our education systems have to change. Who could have imagined a year and a half ago that children wouldn't be going to school, that there'd be lockdowns, that everything was going to begin to be done online? I'm not saying it's always going to be like that, but this is a break with what we had. Taurus is habits. Uranus is breakup of habit patterns that no longer work. This is what this is about. New health systems, new healing systems. There's all kinds of new healing energies with coherence, with the unified field. Many of you are healers. Develop those skills more. Share those skills. Chances are that whatever you love, you should be doing it and developing it and pushing yourself with it. Yeah, I push myself to do these webinars. I just started them this year. I'm doing the Learn Astrology webinars. Are going to be starting Monday in New Zealand, Sunday, the rest of the world. I'm doing a series of Learn Astrology webinars. It's a big stretch for me. I'm used to doing it in a classroom where I'm talking to people and I'm asking people questions and getting feedback. It's not quite so interactive in the webinar, a little bit, but not as much. So it's a mega stretch. And I want to share it more than anything in the world, because many of you are going to become astrologers. And if you're not going to become an astrologer, you'll learn a valuable skill that will show you where to focus your energy and how to interact more effectively with people in your life. Something you can take with you everywhere and always. So if I've got to go through a bit of discomfort to do it, or a lot of discomfort, aren't I lucky that I've got Lucy helping me? Lucy is amazing. She just responds to everything, helping me with this and that and the other and sending me screenshots. Thank you, Lucy. I love you. So what do you just need to share of your gifts, of your talents? Because this is what's being brought up here. And come up with some innovative ideas. You can come up with your own ideas. You can. Lao Tzu famously says, manage affairs before they are a mess. He also says, at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. And each time you go into the heart energy, your heart will tell you what you want. I think we're going to be looking at issues of dependence and independence, codependence, interdependence. We're going to be looking at this whole issue around dependency and becoming independent. Now, the Aquarian energy is very much about becoming independent, being strong in yourself. So you might want to look at in your life, who am I relying on too much? Who have I got too much reliance on? And where do I need to widen out a bit? Am I relying on just one person? Am I relying on just one source of income? Am I, where am I over emphasized? Where do I need to just open some new doors, open some new connections? More and more and more of us are coming together. More and more are getting together. Really, we are. Teddies are banding together. The other little teddy is in the other rucksack because I like to take him when I'm out to have a little teddy with me. So we've got, thank you, Phil. We are in the process now of a wonderful opportunity to create the new earth. And these are now some practical ways, and let's get together, yeah? You can put some things in the post things in the comments here of the things that you're doing, the things that you're releasing and letting go of, the skills that you're developing and wanting to share, and the discomforts you're going through, the birthing pangs. We're birthing a new world here together. And I read a great quote by J.K. Rowling, who's probably one of the most successful authors in the world, who said, rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I built my life. She went to rock bottom before she was able to create something that was life-changing for many. So just know that if you feel you are at rock bottom, you feel you are facing obstacle and difficulty, just know that that can be the place that new seeds become possible and new things can come into your life. You've just had to let go of all the things and now something new can come in. And I've always found this to be true. Maybe you will disagree with me, but this is just my experience. That when I've released something and let it go, that afterwards, and it may be a while afterwards, the new things that come into my life are so much better than the old people or things or situations that I was desperately holding on to. So I just want to say to you, if you can stay calm with meditation, with yoga, with all of these things, and find ways, we're thinking of getting one of those punching bags where you can just, bash it out on a punching bag or whatever it is, or go to the gym or do some rowing, get the anger out, because anger's going to be there. But the other side of anger is passion, is intensity. So just know there's the flip side of it. That's why it's important not to suppress it. So I want to thank you so much for being here online today. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Drew. Thank you, April. Thank you, dear family. Sending you so much love from Whangaparoa in New Zealand. Bye for now. Buttons. I'm going to find the buttons. Where's my buttons? I don't know how to turn it off.